Hello again, folks. Now, today I wanted to cover the Turvey Report with the David Thorne case. For those of you that are just joining us on the David Thorne case, I've already made 2 videos on it. Real brief synopsis. David Thorne was convicted in 1999 of the brutal killing of Yvonne Lane, but he wasn't actually convicted of the killing. He was convicted of murder for hire. For more on that, see my previous videos on David Thorne, or I'll leave a link down below in the description to the wrongful conviction of David Thorne website. Now, today I'm going to cover the Turvey Report, and again, link below, you know me. But I wanted to cover this because this is really interesting. Brent Turvey is a forensic expert, essentially, and he does massive case file analyses every year, and he's a rock star in his field. There's a couple things in this report that I slightly disagree with, but, I'm not the expert. But there's some interesting stuff in here, so I wanted to start going through this with you guys. I know that the Avery case and the Dassey case have not finished. They're not done by a long shot. I get that. I'm not giving up on them. I'm merely keeping the mojo going on helping out the wrongfully convicted. So, again, link below, and let's get through this. So, in advance of rendering these conclusions, this examiner finds it necessary to make the following statement and place it in bold type so that it will not be missed in a review of this supplement. Perhaps the single most important factor in the disposition of this case has been the chronic failure of professionals to actually read through and examine the case material to develop a genuine understanding of the case facts. This included those charged with doing so for the prosecution of the defendant and those charged with doing so on his behalf, because fucking attorneys. Without full and genuine understanding of the facts, it seems highly improbable that any jury could make informed decisions about the guilt or innocence of any defendant. Now, to continue. After a careful review of the available case material, the following are our conclusions and their basis. Conclusion 1. According to page 3 of the undated coroner's report signed by PSS Murthy, MD, sometime after the autopsy on 4/1 of 1999, the victim, Yvonne Lane, received a gaping incised wound to the neck extending from left to right and measuring 8 inches by 4 inches. The sternomastoid is severed, the trachea is partly severed, the left internal and external carotid artery and the jugular vein are severed. It is this examiner's conclusion that the victim received this injury while standing very near to her sliding glass door, opposite the kitchen in her home while facing it at least partially. Furthermore, the victim was attacked from behind. The support of this, guys, is, I'm just going to hold this up to the screen real quick, but again, link is below so you'll be able to look at these nice and up close. This is the crime scene. And if you notice here, this is arterial spray right here. You'll notice that it starts kind of high up here and it sort of dips down. This is due to the loss in blood pressure that Yvonne suffered due to the wound in her neck. Now, I know what you're thinking, Casey, that's a little low down on the door there, but Yvonne was only 5'3", so it's actually not that low down. And as you can see, that's arterial spray. You don't get that strong of spray at that height when, according to the prosecution's narrative, her neck was originally cut on the couch and she ran to the sliding glass door, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now, have to get a little organized here. Pardon me. Now, there was blood all over that little area of her house. The height of the arterial spurt patterns on the sliding glass door are most consistent with a standing victim. This is crime scene processing 101. How APD had the fucking balls to claim that Joe Wilkes' narrative that he gave the officers is the factually correct one, I will never know. But there's just no way that it happened like that, guys. Just no way. you know, we could go through all of this, but there is, and, you know, again, the link's going to be below, so you guys are going to have an opportunity to really see this. But there is some juicy stuff in here that I wanted to talk to you guys about, because I really, I don't understand how anybody missed this. I know I should use the flags that a fan sent me to keep my notes straight. But, you know, time is not of the essence to me. Now, God bless America. Here we go. All right, conclusion number 5. The white dresser in the living room appears to have been pulled down over the victim, possibly to simulate a struggle after the victim was already on the ground. Moreover, the TV appears to have been placed on her body as opposed to having fallen on her body. This conclusion is supported by the following facts evident in the crime scene and autopsy photos. Conclusion A. The TV is too far away from the dresser upon which it had been resting with the cable box to have fallen into the location where it was found. Now, I'm going to show you guys this picture. Again, Ms. Lane's children, I suggest that you don't watch this part. Probably just shut off the video, because I don't want you seeing your mother like this, but I'm not your mom, so I can't tell you what to do. But if you don't want to see your mom like this, please shut off the video now. Now, this is Yvonne. This is the dresser. The TV would have been here, but the TV is here. And you guys have to remember, this is the late 90s, early 2000s. This is way before flat screen TVs. So this was a heavy tube television, okay? Now, look at that there, okay? There's the TV. I'm going to use my pen. There's the TV. There's the dresser. Had it tipped at that angle, it would have fallen here. But it didn't. It fell there. The farthest edge is on the far side of her body. Now, the fact is that had this naturally fallen, it would have landed directly in the center of her back. But it didn't. It landed here. And furthermore, as though that weren't enough. What's my hair doing? You've heard of the messy bun? This is the I don't give a fuck. Furthermore, as though that were not enough, the placing of the TV gently, because, okay, in order for you to process a crime scene properly, you have to think like a criminal, okay? If I were to have committed a murder and I was trying to stage the crime scene, I would try to make it actually look like what I'm trying to make it look like, okay? So I would go through the motions. This is how smart criminals do things, okay? So instead of just taking the TV and placing it and pulling the dresser over a little bit, I'd have yanked that son of a bitch with the fucking TV on top of it and let it fall wherever the fuck it went. The fact that the perpetrator did not do that and instead placed the TV on top of Yvonne as opposed to like dropping it on her speaks of care. The killer cared for her. Even in death, the killer didn't want to hurt her. Funny, considering that he just fucking killed her, but that's not the point. The point is that the killer cared about her. Because if he didn't care about her, he'd have just yanked that fucking thing and let the TV fall on her, but he didn't. He placed it gently because there were no marks on her body. None. Not a fucking one. And the fact that her posture that she's found in is face down speaks of remorse. The killer feels terrible that he's killed her. Mixed emotions. Don't try to understand a psychopath. So the killer feels guilty. That's why she's face down. He can't look at her. That's why he dragged her face down in the blood. I'm just saying. So that's an interesting point right there. That is definitely something that the police did not look into, because God forbid the APD actually fucking do their job. But it's, from what I'm learning of this specific police department, doing their job is not high on their fucking priority list. Okay, I had one more point that I wanted to make to you guys out of this report. at least at this time. Oh, here we are. Okay, let me get my handy dandy glasses. Now, conclusion number 7. An Alliance Police Department narrative supplement stated, that was creepy, dated 7/16/99 by Detective Sampson provides the following summarized account of events by Joseph Wilkes. When asked to describe what he did to Yvonne Lane, Wilkes said, "We were sitting on the couch talking. I reached over, grabbed her hair, and cut her throat. She tried to run out the door, the big glass door that slides. She turned around and asked me why. I told her David wanted me to, and she fell to the floor. Get this shit. I walked over by her and said, I never did it, and I walked out and ran." I never did it. I never did it. See, kids, if you were to pay attention to anything having to do with the Brendan Dassey false confession, any of the press releases, anything like that, any of the talks given by Laura Nyrider, you would know that even when they're giving a false confession, they're still trying to tell the truth. So by him stating something like, I never did it, he's trying to still tell the cops, I didn't fucking do this. You guys know I didn't do this. But that's not what happened. But the really good shit comes a little further down. An APD narrative supplement dated 7/21/99 by Detective Sampson provides a similar summarized account of events by Joseph Wilkes. Due to Wilkes and Lane knowing each other, the two went to the living room and conversed while seated on the couch. While talking, Lane had turned her head away from Wilkes, like she was listening for one of her children. Oh, just trying to make her sound so fucking wholesome. Wilkes had reached into his pocket and pulled out the knife, opened it, and with one swift move, grabbed Lane by the hair, pulled, and cut the throat with the knife. Really? One swift fucking move? Sampson, what the fuck are you on? Lane, get this shit. Lane, after having her throat cut, bounded to her feet in an attempt to get away from her assailant. She runs towards the glass sliding doors, but stopped. She turned around to face Wilkes, and in her last dying breath, asked, "Why did you do that?" Wilkes, while looking Lane in the face, told her, "David wanted me to." After that was said, Lane fell over to the floor and died in her living room. Jesus fucking Christ, Sampson! Are you fucking writing a report or a goddamn book? That's a little dramatic for a police report. The fuck is going with her last dying breath? Seriously? You put that in a report? Oh my God. You. What's your queen name? Because you're a little dramatic. Oh my God. So bad. But I was going through Chris Campbell's statement earlier today. This video is already long enough. It's not like you guys care. I was going through Chris Campbell's statement today, and a few things struck me as really, really odd, and I wanted to share them with you. This was done by Detective Leach. That's appropriate. On July 9th, Detective Mucklow and I contacted Christopher Campbell at his place of employment. Bullshit! And Mr. Campbell stated that he had spoken with Wilkes at the Carnation Mall in March of 1999. In March? March? I asked Campbell the nature of the conversation. He said it was mostly small talk until Wilkes mentioned he was in town to commit a murder for hire. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. What's up? Not much. How are you doing? Working, doing my thing. So, where are you headed? I'm off to commit a murder. Yeah, that sounds like a fucking natural conversation. Campbell was with his girlfriend, Rose Moore, on 3/31/99 when they met Wilkes at the Carnation Mall. Knowing that Wilkes had lived in Atwater, Campbell asked what brought him to Alliance. How would he know that? He hadn't seen him in years. How would he know that he was living in Atwater? Come on, Leach. Where are those tapes? Wilkes responded that his girlfriend had gotten him a room at the Comfort Inn because she had some business he needed to take care of. Wilkes didn't have a girlfriend. Campbell explained that Wilkes always dressed shabbily and never appeared to have any money. On this occasion, Wilkes was wearing new clothes and a new pair of Nike shoes. You hadn't seen him in years. How the fuck do you know? Campbell was curious about Wilkes' job and how he could afford such things. Really, Leach? Really? Campbell persisted with questions about the job until Wilkes showed him a knife and told him he was hired to kill someone. Really? I'm sorry, but if I was hired to kill somebody and I ran into a busybody that kept bugging the shit out of me about my money situation, I'd be like, you know what, dude? I gotta go. Peace out. Come on. Come on. Campbell asked how much money he was going to make. Yeah, because that's my first fucking question when somebody tells me that they've been hired to commit a murder. Campbell asked how much money he was going to make, and Wilkes told him $300 up front. Really? Prying for further information, Campbell learned that it was a female who was to be killed. How the fuck did you manage that one? Campbell said that some of the small talk turned to Wilkes' fascination with martial arts. Wilkes spoke about shoot fighting and his trainer who lives in Atwater. He didn't train in shoot fighting. David Thorne trained in shoot fighting, but he never taught Joe anything. Ever. But that's a common theme in all of Joe's statements and in all the people that he talks to. He describes David as his trainer, but David never actually trained him in anything. Campbell said that he has known for several years that Wilkes trained in shoot fighting at a home in Atwater. Several years. Joe Wilkes was 18 at the time of the fucking murder. Several years? He didn't have several years. Several. Several? Really? Campbell, you fucking coked up son of a bitch. It must be noted that both times I spoke with Campbell, he became emotionally upset. Get this, kids. At one point, he was so distraught, he nearly vomited. Why? Why would you get so distraught over the potential murder by your friend of a woman that you knew of, but you didn't know? Why would you get so upset that you would vomit? Unless you were being badgered by police so fucking badly as to stress you to the point of vomiting. Which seems to be their favorite tactic in Alliance. Campbell and I went to Kmart where we viewed knives in the sporting goods section. The fuck? Campbell showed me a folding knife with a black plastic handle and a half serrated edge. He said that the knife was similar to the one Wilkes showed him. Guys, if you saw this wound on Yvonne, you would know that there is no way that knife had a serrated edge. No. See, a serrated knife tears flesh. It rips it. It makes a jagged edge. The wound on Yvonne Lane was so clean. It was immaculate. With the exception of the downgrade angle by 1.5 inches from left to right, it was a completely professional cut. It was unreal how well that was done. No serrated knife had anything to do with that. At any rate, that's the coke dealer. Tomorrow we'll talk about Rose Moore, his girlfriend, and we will go over the psychic's statement to police. I wish I was fucking joking, but I'm not. At any rate, kids, the link for the Turvey Report will be down below in the description, and as will the link for David Thorne's rally fund for his defense. Don't forget to subscribe to me here on YouTube. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Mama Phoenix 6, and go on over to the About page here on my channel. You'll find everything from my Facebook fan page to my blog to my Instagram. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you soon.